It's always a pleasure to talk to another ex-DJ, Bill Rafferty.
How are you, John?
Tell me your a circuitous way from radio into real people.
What did you do? You circuited? What was that word?
Tell me how you ended up where you are today.
I was at a halfway house in Santa Monica, and George came there and said,
George Flattery,
"Who's the guy with his head on the table? We need him." And that was
just
it.
our time.
And I've climbed my way to the top in show business.
And done well, I see.
I really have.
Yes. You are a field reporter for...
I'm the roving reporter.
That sounds even better.
When I'm out there, I try and... Well, I wouldn't say that.
Tell me how many times you've been across the country doing all of these sorts of things.
That's kind of personal, John.
Well, I didn't mean to pry.
I've been back and forth 4 or 5 times now.
Well, what do you do when you're out in the roving, in the field?
Well, we go out there with a batch of stories. I usually go out like on a 2-week trip. And normally in that period of time we can do 5, 6 stories.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fast. It's like 16-hour days, 7 o'clock calls. You're out the door and rolling. But it's fun. I enjoy it. How
do you go about selecting the people that you talk to?
Well, in the beginning when the show first got started, we had researchers, and still do. Of course, we use Chuck Hillinger from the LA Times, who's been doing this kind of stuff for a long time. And now, when we're out in the field, people come up to us, and once they know that it is real people, and they have ideas, and sometimes they can be incorporated into what we're doing, or maybe it's a future project. So we're getting a lot of input now from the people, the real people.
Do you think Real People's going to be a hit?
It is.
It sure is. Everyone talks about it, either the next day or for days afterward.
Yeah.
And people will call Channel 2 and they'll say, gee, I wonder if I can get hold of that little bit that we saw last Wednesday,
Really?
It really strikes a chord.
It is interesting. One of the things that I like about the show is that we are a hit and we don't use stars, which is obvious. But that when I'm out in the field, when people come up to me, they will not ask about the individual cast members. They won't go up and say, Bill, gee, I love that story you did, or I like the story somebody else did. They'll ask about the people in the story. They'll say, is so-and-so this way? Is so-and-so that way? Is that true? Did they really do that? You say, yeah.
Sure. There's no hype in any of these interviews. The people are really as eccentric as they look, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times they're just as touching and as they can be also, because they are based. They only have the one thing that they do, whatever it may be.
Yes, like their claim to fame.
Right, one little thing. And after that, they are basically homespun kind of folks.
Right. We'll be watching for you on more Real People.
I hope
Thanks
so.
a lot.
Thank you very much.